Building upon the previous section, where we explored the range of disciplinary actions available to the real estate commissioner, this section focuses on the commissioner's authority to act swiftly and decisively when an investigation reveals that a licensee's conduct poses an immediate danger to the public. This emergency authority represents one of the most powerful tools granted to the Arizona Department of Real Estate, ADRE, under ARS Section 322153C, which allows the commissioner to take immediate protective measures without waiting for the lengthy process of a formal administrative hearing. The intent of this authority is clear: to safeguard the public from harm when evidence shows that a licensee's continued practice would threaten consumer trust, financial security, or safety. When an investigation or complaint uncovers behavior that poses a serious and ongoing risk, the commissioner has the power to issue a summary suspension of a license. A summary suspension is an emergency action that temporarily halts a licensee's ability to engage in any real estate activity pending the outcome of a full investigation or hearing. The commissioner does not take such action lightly. It is reserved for circumstances where there is compelling evidence that allowing the licensee to continue practicing could result in additional harm or losses to the public. Examples include embezzlement or conversion of trust account funds, falsifying documents, engaging in fraudulent real estate sales, or repeated misrepresentations that deceive consumers. Under ARS Section 32-2153C, the commissioner may summarily suspend a license prior to a hearing if, based on available evidence, the public welfare requires immediate intervention. The decision to issue a summary suspension is typically supported by investigative findings, audit results, or credible complaints corroborated by documentation or testimony. For instance, if a broker is discovered transferring client trust funds into personal accounts, the commissioner may summarily suspend the broker's license to prevent further misappropriation before the formal disciplinary process begins. Once the summary suspension is issued, the licensee must immediately cease all real estate activity. This includes listing, selling, leasing, managing property, or collecting commissions. The ADRE notifies the employing broker, if applicable, and updates the public license record to indicate the suspended status. The licensee is also served with a written order specifying the reasons for the suspension and advising them of their right to a hearing before the Office of Administrative Hearings, OAH. This ensures compliance with Arizona's Administrative Procedure Act, ARS Section 41-1092 ESEQ, which guarantees due process even in emergency circumstances. During the suspension period, the department continues its investigation to gather evidence, interview witnesses, and review financial or transactional records. A formal hearing is then scheduled where the licensee has an opportunity to present a defense, provide documentation, or contest the findings. After the hearing, the commissioner reviews the administrative law judge's recommendations and issues a final decision, which may uphold the suspension, convert it to a full revocation, place the licensee on probation, or lift the suspension if the evidence does not support ongoing risk. A practical example of this process can be seen in cases involving trust account mismanagement. Suppose a broker fails to disburse earnest money to buyers after multiple failed transactions, and an audit reveals missing funds totaling tens of thousands of dollars. The commissioner, upon confirming the discrepancies, may summarily suspend the broker's license to stop additional transactions and prevent further client losses. In another example, if a salesperson is discovered falsifying signatures on purchase contracts to secure commissions, the commissioner may suspend that license immediately to prevent fraudulent transactions from continuing. The commissioner's authority to act swiftly also extends to unlicensed activity that endangers the public. Under ARS Section 32-2165B, the commissioner may issue cease and desist orders against individuals or entities found performing acts requiring a real estate license without proper authorization. For example, if an unlicensed property manager is collecting rent and negotiating leases, the commissioner can order the immediate cessation of those activities to protect property owners and tenants from further harm. In certain cases, the commissioner may also coordinate with other regulatory or law enforcement agencies to address broader risks. For example, if an investigation reveals that a licensee's conduct may constitute criminal fraud, forgery, or embezzlement, the ADRE may refer the case to the Arizona Attorney General's office or the county attorney for prosecution. This dual enforcement approach ensures that both administrative and criminal remedies are pursued when public harm is severe. It is important to note that the Commissioner's summary suspension powers are not punitive, but protective in nature. The goal is not to punish the licensee immediately, but to protect the public, while due process takes its course. The department exercises this authority sparingly, and only when supported by strong, verifiable evidence that continued licensure would expose the public to further financial or ethical harm. In many cases, the commissioner will accompany a summary suspension with additional restrictions or conditions to preserve assets or prevent further damage. For example, the commissioner may order a broker to immediately surrender all trust account records, notify clients of the suspension, or cease advertising services. These conditions ensure that the suspension effectively protects the public while the investigation continues. If the evidence gathered during the hearing confirms that the licensee engaged in conduct that demonstrates untrustworthiness, incompetence, or fraud, the commissioner may issue a final order of revocation under Arizona Revised Statutes, Section 322.153A. Conversely, if the evidence does not support the allegations, the commissioner may lift the suspension and reinstate the license with or without probationary terms. This due process balance preserves fairness while prioritizing public protection. Review summary. In this section, you learned that when an investigation reveals conduct posing an immediate danger to the public, the real estate commissioner has the authority under ARS Section 322.153C to issue a summary suspension of a license prior to a hearing. This emergency action halts all real estate activity to prevent further harm. The suspension remains in place until a full investigation and administrative hearing determine whether permanent disciplinary action is warranted. The commissioner may also issue cease and desist orders against unlicensed activity or refer cases to law enforcement when criminal conduct is suspected. These actions ensure swift public protection while maintaining due process for the licensee. Discussion. What statute authorizes the commissioner to issue a summary suspension when there is immediate danger to the public? Answer. ARS Section 32-2153C. What is the primary purpose of a summary suspension? Answer. To protect the public from ongoing harm while the department completes its investigation. What happens after a summary suspension is issued? Answer. The licensee must stop all real estate activities, and the department schedules a formal hearing before the Office of Administrative Hearings. Can the commissioner act without a hearing in cases of immediate danger? Answer. Yes, the commissioner may summarily suspend a license before a hearing if public welfare requires immediate action. What other action may the commissioner take if unlicensed individuals are found performing real estate activities? Answer. Issue a cease and desist order under Arizona Revised Statutes, Section 32-2165B. Closing remarks. The power of the real estate commissioner to act swiftly when an immediate danger exists is one of the most crucial safeguards in Arizona's regulatory system. By issuing summary suspensions and cease and desist orders, the commissioner ensures that unethical or fraudulent practices are stopped before they cause additional harm. These emergency actions embody the ADRE's mission to protect the public, preserve trust in the profession, and uphold the highest standards of honesty and accountability. While summary suspension is a serious measure, it also demonstrates the balance between firm regulation and fair due process that defines Arizona's real estate oversight system.